Hello and welcome to PrimeHotshotGaming's Planetside 2 tutorial. My name is Adam, and in this video I'll be going over the very basics of Planetside 2 with you. We will touch on the UI, the map, squads and platoons, outfits and what they are, certifications, and many different classes and vehicles within Planetside 2. First up is the user interface. In the top left, you will have your chat window, which will be your means of communicating with all players other than the in-game voice chat or any kind of external voice chat that you may end up using, such as TeamSpeak or Ventrilo. In the bottom left, you have your minimap. On your minimap, you can see friendly players, enemy players that have recently fired their weapon or have otherwise been spotted, your current field of view, enemy or friendly vehicles, such as my Flash ATV right there, structures, roads, and other environment. You can also see very important icons on your minimap, such as in the top left of my minimap is a teleporter icon, and then right over here you can see on the map is the ammo tower for vehicles. That's what that icon looks like. In the bottom right hand corner of your screen, you have your basic health and shield bars, your ammo, how many grenades you have, and your class-specific special ability. Every class on Planetside has a special ability, and this is where the majority of them will be able to see what power it has left. You activate this by pressing F, and in my case I'm the Heavy Assault, and it gives me this special shield here. Above that, you can see a small green vehicle with a timer above it, and this is your vehicle user interface. It allows you to see how much health your vehicle currently has and how long it has left until it deconstructs if you have exited the vehicle. Next up is the map. There's lots of information on the map and it can be kind of daunting, but don't worry, we'll go through it together right now. Each zone that you can see highlighted when I mouse over it, such as Sungray Amp Station and the zone next to it, and then finally Amherst vs Warpgate, are called hexes. Each hex has a base which needs to be captured for one of the three factions in the game to then control that hex. Factions cannot attack any hex that they do not have adjacency to, that is, they do not control a hex that is next to it. This ensures that there is always a front line, so to speak. Certain hexes are more important than others. These hexes are generally larger, and you can see their names on the map, such as Sungray Amp Station, McCullough Tech Plant, and Anatha Biolab. These different areas have special bonuses that will contribute to your faction's war effort when they are captured by your faction. You can tell what kind they are, not only by the name, but by the icon that appears on the map. For instance, Sungray Amp Station has a small lightning bolt. That means it's an amp station. Anatha Biolab has a beaker over it, signifying that it is a biolab, if you would rather identify at a glance. And then Tech Plant has some kind of console. When you see a hex flashing, such as McCullough Tech Plant right now, that means that enemies have been detected in the area. This means that somebody that is not currently part of your faction is there, not necessarily capturing a base, capturing anything really, or doing much of anything, but it means they're there and they have fired their weapons at some point. Sometimes this can escalate into what is called instant action. There's none currently on the map, but when there is, you will see many different colored explosions on the map and a large deploy button over it. The deploy button allows you to redeploy from wherever you currently are on the continent, and it will drop you in a pod straight into the action. This allows you to quickly move across the map without having to feel sluggish movement or anything like that, but be warned that it does incur a 15-minute cooldown in between redeployments. In the top left, you also have another redeploy button. This is something that if you would rather not die to be able to respawn somewhere else, you can always hit this and you will redeploy at one of your chosen locations in about 10 seconds. However, it is not recommended to use this because it will still incur the 15-minute cooldown, and it's much easier to just simply type /suicide in chat, which will instantly kill your character and allow you to respawn elsewhere. The instant action button in the bottom left serves the same purpose as the instant action that you would see over a current hex. Only in this case it'll allow you to get to it faster, and you can immediately read the name that way, rather than having to search for it on your map. Next up are squads and platoons. Planetside 2 is a very tactical, organized game, as many of the battles can have up to over 300 players all fighting at the same time. In fact, there is opportunity for a 333 on 333 on 333 battle if all players allowed on from all three factions all fight in a single hex. Crazy. So, to help get around some of the chaos that some of these battles can incur, it is encouraged to join a squad or platoon. You can access your squad and platoon menu by pressing escape and going to your social tab down at the bottom, the two people with headsets on, and you see you can have squad and outfit. Squad will be also your platoon tab if your squad grows to that size. As you can see, I have many different options here to choose from for squads, and all I have to do is select the Join Now button, and I will instantly join that squad, and they will appear on the map, and I can always deploy to them if they need me. You can also enable auto join squad, which means as soon as you log in, you will join a well-populated active squad. You can also filter which squads you join. If you have a friend in-game that has started a squad and you would like to see, you cannot see their squad because, say, you have too many. As you can see, there's quite a few here. You can always filter by friends, of which you can see that I have no friends currently online, or by outfit, which is, we'll touch on those later, but you can also sort by outfit. Touching on outfits now, outfits are groups of players that have banded together for a more organized playstyle. In other games, in other MMO games, these are oftentimes called guilds. It is the same concept, it is entirely the same. There's ranks, members are recruited by other members, it grows and swells into a living, breathing organization. This is another thing that is highly encouraged to join, because while squads give you more tactical decisions than, say, freelance, and obviously more enjoyable, outfits can touch even farther on that. Oftentimes outfits employ TeamSpeak or Ventrilo to help organize things and make sure that everybody's on the same page to secure the objectives. Large outfits, such as mine, which has 1,748 players in it, use these quite a bit because oftentimes we can have multiple platoon-sized battles. Platoons are squads that have reached their maximum limit of 12 per squad, and then have spilled over into another squad. So instead of it suddenly being a single squad, you will have Squad Alpha, and then Squad Bravo. Once Bravo is filled, Charlie Squad will be opened up. Once Charlie Squad has been filled, Delta will open up, and Delta is the last squad. The maximum platoon size is 48, that's 12 players per squad. All of which have a single squad leader, and then one person who is marked as the platoon leader, which allows him to control platoon waypoints on the map, and each squad leader can also control a single squad waypoint on the map. So the platoon waypoint is a hex that is far away, and your squad has been tasked with taking the hex in between your current hex and the platoon waypoint. Your squad leader can set squad waypoint on where he needs you to go, and the platoon leader can set the waypoint on the area in which he needs everybody to eventually get to. Next up we have certifications. It's this weird hexagonal thing, I don't even know, down at the bottom in your escape menu. And each certification is earned by earning experience points. Earn experience points by taking hexes, killing enemy players, destroying enemy vehicles, destroying enemy aircraft, healing and reviving, and also repairing. Certifications are player specific, so you can have 3 characters, and certifications for each character are saved on that character. They do not spill over, so if I have 40 certifications, which you can see in the bottom left here, but I have another character on a different server, or even on this server, he may have 70 or 100 certifications that I have not yet spent. Certifications are used to purchase new weapons, weapon attachments, attachments for your vehicles, and also upgrades for a certain class type. You can purchase these through the certification screen, and you can go through each one individually, and you will get a large overview. So this is the heavy assault overview here. You can see that there are many weapons I have not yet unlocked, and you can purchase weapons with either certifications or something called station cash, which is how they make money. It's a microtransaction. You buy the points and then you spend the points for things in game. This only applies to weapons, not attachments for weapons. It also applies to vehicle weapons, but again, not attachments. And considering that everything in the game is fairly well balanced, there's not a very large pay-to-win aspect, with the exception of aircraft are very hard to be effective in without having them outfitted with rocket pods and flares, which oftentimes can cost upwards of 2,000 certs to get a single aircraft completely decked out and everything you need it to be. But otherwise, everything else is fairly well balanced, and you're not going to see too much pay to win. Certifications can take a while to earn. To combat this, you are given passive cert gain upon logging in, which means however long you were logged out, you get a certain amount of certs for logging back in. So I log out for 2 days, I'll log back in, and let's say I'll get just 20 free certs for logging back in, just for free, to encourage you to come back. Finally, the different classes and vehicles, which have been referenced all throughout this video, but I haven't quite got to yet. There are several different classes. There is the Infiltrator, which you can see right here. This is the Vanu Sovereignty Infiltrator. This is the current faction I'm playing. These are snipers and reconnaissance. Their special ability, by pressing F, is a cloaking device. It's a personal cloaking device. They will turn invisible, slightly invisible. Skilled players may be able to see them just because they recognize the cloak. And are the only class in the game that can hack terminals, which is enemy terminals at bases, for switching, buying a vehicle or purchasing an aircraft to fly in, or switching your class. They can hack those so that even when the base hasn't yet been captured by their allies, if they secure a building, it can be then used as long as they hack all the terminals inside. Next up is Light Assault. He is your basic run and gun, uses a small submachine gun, low clip, high rate of fire. His active ability is the jetpack. He does not have to press F to activate it. In fact, it is activated by simply jumping. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a small jetpack with about a 7-second fly time, I think, non-upgraded, and then it will just slowly recharge over time. He's used for just flying in, getting inside urban combat. He can also be equipped with C4, as can most of the classes, which is, remotely detonated explosives. Always nice. Next up is the Combat Medic. Keep in mind this is a combat medic, which means he is still combat effective. The only difference is that his tool is a medic gun. He can aim it at a single player at a time to heal their health bar all the way back up to full. His active ability is an area of effect heal. It heals all friendly players in his proximity. as long as he keeps it on. He can toggle it on and off, however keep in mind it still uses the same class resource ability bar. Next up is the engineer. This guy doesn't have a resource bar per se. Instead of something like a jetpack or an area of effect heal, engineers can set up turrets which they can then man, which are armored in the front to protect them. Excellent for setting up choke points or anti-infantry to provide overwatch from a ridge. They are your basic support class. They can throw out ammo as well, so that players can run over their ammo packs and regenerate some of their ammo without having to run back to a resupply station. Next, we have the Heavy Assault, which is the class you saw me playing, and you can tell that I've put some time into it because he looks a little different than the other ones. He is your anti-everything. He's not fast, but he's extremely durable, as seen by his active ability, which is the passive shield I showed you earlier. His primary attribute is the fact that they use light machine guns, so high rate of fire, high damage, high clip, long reload time weapons, with their tool being a rocket launcher used for anti-vehicle, which you can change out to anti-aircraft, lock-on weaponry, or dumbfire missiles. So like I said, he is your basic anti-everything class. He's good for close quarters to medium range against vehicles and infantry. Last up is the special class. This is called a Max. It is an armored mech suit. You purchase a Max by going to an infantry resupply station, selecting him, and then buying him with infantry points, which these points are earned passively as you play and fight other players and take objectives, just like aerospace points, which are used to buy aircraft, and mechanized points, which are used for tanks, ATVs like you saw earlier, Sunderers, which are a mobile troop transport, and those kind of things. He cannot pilot a vehicle on his own. That is, a Max cannot get into a tank and drive a tank and then get out of the tank and continue being a Max. It won't let you do that. You can load up into a transport as a Max. That is completely acceptable, but you cannot operate anything. The other thing to keep in mind is that they do not have shields. They simply have a very large health pool, so their health will not regenerate. They're extremely durable. Extremely durable. They can take rockets and keep going. Just eat a rocket and just keep going. They also are not healed by medics. Engineers repair Maxes, as they are considered vehicles. Albeit single-man vehicles, but they're still considered vehicles. So engineers use their repair gun to repair Maxes. Moving on to vehicles, we have several things, some of which are Empire specific, and I will be showing you the Vanu Sovereignty specific things today. First up is the Flash, non-Empire specific. Every Empire has a Flash. It's the same thing with a different color scheme. It is a ATV that can be outfitted for recon. It can be outfitted with a light machine gun, as you see mine does. And it can also be outfitted as an infiltrator to cloak. It's excellent for single-man transport from one objective to another very quickly. Next up is the Sunderer. Again, this one is not Empire specific. Mine has silly camo on it, but it is a infantry troop transport. It can hold up to 12 people, so an entire squad, and can be upgraded with certifications to turn into a mobile spawn point. This is very important. Sunderers are extremely important for tactical play, because you can roll an friendly Sunderer up to an enemy base, deploy it, and have everybody deploy at the Sunderer as long as it's still up. Next up is the Lightning. Again, not Empire specific. Every Empire has a Lightning. It is a single man, fast tank. It can be outfitted for anti-air, anti-vehicle, or anti-infantry. It is lightly armored, so you have to use your agility in order to dodge rockets and otherwise stay alive. This is the Mag Rider. It is the Vanu Sovereignty's Empire-specific main battle tank. So we have the Mag Rider, the Terran Republic, TR, the Reds, have the Prowler, and then the NC, the New Conglomerate, have another one which I cannot for the life of me remember. The Mag Rider in specific is the only tank that can strafe. Is the only one. The other two are both track general normal tanks. You have to turn and everything. The Mag Rider can turn 360 degrees while going straight to the right. Main battle tanks can hold 2 people, 1 pilot manning the main gun, and 1 gunner. You can upgrade these for heavy anti-infantry, heavy anti-armor, as Lightnings are the primary tank used for aircraft. Mag Riders and Prowlers and the like do not have very good anti-aircraft capabilities. Next up is the Scythe, the Vanu Sovereignty's ESF, Empire-specific fighter. The Scythe is a VTOL, a vertical takeoff and landing. Every single ESF in the game is vertical takeoff. In fact, every single aircraft is vertical takeoff and landing. This is to combat runway issues and things like that. Every single ESF can be upgraded for anti-air. It can be equipped with rocket pods, dumbfire missiles for anti-ground. It can be given lock-on anti-aircraft missiles. So it can be outfitted for anti-ground vehicle, anti-air, and if you're a really good shot with the rocket pods, anti-infantry. Next is the Liberator. This is non-Empire specific. Everybody has a Liberator that looks just like this one, except a different color scheme. It's not gloriously purple like mine. This is a bomber. It can hold 3 people in it. It has a pilot, it has a tail gunner, and it also has somebody in the bomber seat. These can be upgraded solely to do more damage to infantry or more damage to armor. If you're an extremely talented pilot with a good crew, you can take out other aircraft, although your chances are slim to none, unless your tail gunner is upgraded and a very good shot. Last up on vehicles is the Galaxy. This is a flying troop transport that is, again, not Empire specific. Every Empire has this. It can hold 12 people, just like a Sunderer, so an entire squad. Only because it's an aircraft, it's a little more mobile and it's much, much faster. You can hot drop out of the Galaxy from any height without taking damage. This means that if you bail out of a Galaxy that is mid-air, you will not take damage from the fall. You won't die as long as you don't slide down a hill. This is excellent for attacking bases in mass. Suddenly you have a squad right on top of a tech plant and people are scrambling to try to defend, but you've already taken one of the capture points. Again, I'd like to reiterate that this is not Empire specific. Everybody has this. It cannot be deployed like a mobile spawn point like the Sunderer, however, so it is generally used to get in a place that you can think you can take quickly without having anybody die. And that's all for today for basic Planetside 2 training. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. We will be making some more in-depth Planetside 2 guides later, and you will see other people from PrimeHotshotGaming. Thank you.